discussion on whether Guilford is a teen-friendly town or not, and ways to improve it. My name's Spencer Price, and with me are Sean Monahan and Henry Airy. So first question we're going to start off with. Do you think that Guilford is a teen-friendly town? Yes.
It's kind of a tricky one. There's a lot more to that question than it appears. You know, there's two ways to look at it. Whether the town is friendly to the teens or if the teens are friendly to the town. And I feel like that's important to bring up when trying to tackle this question.
Yeah, exactly, because if the kids themselves aren't doing enough to help the town, then there's no reason for the town to help out the kids through whatever means.
Yeah, if the teens are not an asset to the town, obviously the town will not take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right now are teens helpful to the town? I think they are in ways. Obviously, there are plenty of ways that they can do that. You know, not just Guilford in particular, but any town has their set of hooligans.
Yeah.
And, I feel like Guilford has a lot of people who are not hooligans and who can be a real asset to this community.
So if I may interrupt, what can we do to make our teens more beneficial to this town? How can they help out?
We can definitely do some more fundraisers that are relevant to their interests, more, say, concerts or something that they'd be willing to go to. That way they'd be more willing to support the town, do things the town offers. Because they're not going to go to things that don't interest them. I
think the root of the problem is I don't feel like the teens love this town. If you walk through the halls of Guilford High School, a lot of people, especially the upperclassmen who are looking into colleges, a lot of them are looking to get away. They're looking to out-of-state colleges. They are afraid they're going to end up too close to home. A lot of teens overlook Southern Connecticut State University, which is a good school, but they don't want to go to it because it's 30 minutes away from home.
Yeah.
And so I feel that the first thing to tackle is that we need to make these students love where they live.
Mm-hmm.
They not many of them chose Guilford. Their parents chose Guilford, but we need to help them see why their parents chose Guilford. We need to show them how great Guilford can be. And I feel like once we get these students on board and happy to be in the community that they're in, I think they'll be much more open to providing things for the town.
Oh yeah, there'll definitely be more support from the students to the town if they're into the town and they support it because they like it. But I do think there's some ways that, say, the community center could propose more activities for kids, or they have events, but most of them are either for the younger kids or the seniors.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's hard to. Right now, we're at kind of a standstill where the young people in Guilford don't love the town.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not giving love to the town because they feel like they're not receiving it. But on the other end, the adults aren't receiving any love from the teens, so why should they go out of their way? And so we're at kind of a stalemate right now. And what it comes down to is one group taking the first step, saying, "Hey, although you haven't done anything for me lately, I'm going to go out of my way to give you something to do, something fun to talk about." And so, frankly, I feel like it should be on the teen side. I feel like the teens should be stepping up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Because they're definitely the ones who know what they want to do, So if they throw more activities like concerts or whatever.
Absolutely. Adding on to taking the concerts thing, if you take a look a few years back, one of the Guilford High School students, Chris Marshall, he was a member of the North Guilford Congregational Church, and a lot of his friends were in bands. So what did he do? He got permission from the church, opened up the church, and had concerts. And at one time, they were running pretty regularly, and they were very well attended. So, that was a teen stepping up, taking initiative, doing what he wanted to do, what his peers wanted to do, and it turned out very successful. But then you look, and, once Chris headed off to college and left Guilford, no one really seemed to pick up where he left off. There was a few fundraisers at St. George's this past year, and those seemed to be very well attended as well. But once again, once those students went off to college, no one seemed to pick up the pieces.
And those were for a great cause.
Yeah.
They were all fundraisers for Haiti and different countries that were in need.
Absolutely. And so those sorts of events, I feel like they really benefited the community. They got the student body talking to each other, going places together, not just hanging out with the same two friends, but, seeing a large group of their classmates. And it's inevitable that these students who are running these programs are going to go off to college and no longer be in the community. And that's why I feel it's up to the adult population to then see that these events were successful. This is, what people are looking for. Why don't I try and step in and try and continue where they left off? And I feel like the adult population kind of slacked on that one.
Yeah, I would say so, but there's other things in the town that I'd say the adults do pretty well for the teens, but the problem is they don't happen very often. Like, for example, the fair, that only happens once a year. The fireworks, a lot of teens go to that. But they're only once a year, and if they want teens to be more engaged in the community, they have to have more regular events, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. These one-time deals they're very well attended and very much enjoyed, and I feel like part of that is because it's once a year. You talk about the Guilford Fair, and it's, I remember the Guilford Fair of 2008 because I was, because it's just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So, if you look back, the Guilford Park and Rec, I want to say it was called the Summer Sizzler or something like that. They have a concert down at Jacobs Beach usually, like a big day-long event.
Yeah.
And that's very well attended. And but again, that's a once a year thing. But I feel like that's not such a bad thing. I feel that because it's just a one-time thing, the people who put them on, they put their heart and soul into it. They try their very best. They go above and beyond, and their efforts clearly are shown. And I think the problem is, or the way to improve it, is to just have more once a year things, and that's only going to happen if we get more adults involved in putting on these projects, or more teens involved in putting on these projects.
If I may step in, you mentioned like the concerts and the one-time-a-year things. If you look at places like the Madison Arts Barn in Madison, like that's a perfect place. Like it's in a positive environment. Same with the churches, the St. George's, the North Guilford Congregational. Do you think we can maybe have like not permanent, maybe semi-permanent, like positive, like place for these teenagers to go instead of like people like they're just staying home on the weekends, like loitering around town, or just like going off on their way to like not support the town. Maybe we need like a place where we can all hang out,
Yeah, I feel like that would be a very good thing. I've frequently been out and with a bunch of buddies of mine, and none of us really want to stay home, so it's okay, like let's go out. We have our driver's license, but where do we go?
Yeah.
And then we spend half the night just talking about places we can go, and we end up just driving around nowhere, and the night is wasted. And, it would be really cool to have some sort of, almost like a late night cafe, just a little place with couches or some place to just to hang out. But I don't feel like that would be a successful business.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be some sort of like expansion on something. Like the community center has open hours, but it's not open, all night or
Right.
And
So
it also can't support. Well, it can't support that many people, but not usually at the same time,
Right. So, just hypothetically speaking, what if the community center was open, say, like the first Friday of every month? They would be open till, say, 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. They were open late, and it was just kind of like a fun little thing, some place to go, some safe environment to go, some reason not to be up to no good.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be? Do you think people would attend that?
I would say if the kids in the community teenagers in the community were able to like organize something around that, like either have a movie or some kind of dinner or something, like once every Friday or something, once a month on Friday or something. Then I think something could work around that,
Yeah, I take a look at my college, Binghamton University, and they have a big program called Late Night, and it's every Friday and Saturday. They open up a building for students, and it's open until about 1 a.m. every Friday and Saturday, and it's full of different activities every single weekend, every single night. There'll be a common theme for Friday and then a different theme for Saturday. And those are pretty well attended, and I feel like if we took that similar idea and maybe put it on a smaller scale in our community, I feel like that would be well worthwhile if it was, even just once a month, just open up the rec center, have something going on in the gym, maybe show a movie on a projector or I don't know, some sort of like carnival games or something new and exciting with some sort of common theme, just once a month to get kids out of their house, but not in the police blotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a huge problem that I've been seeing. But that's only because, like, there's not much, like, even places that are designed for us maybe aren't as attractive. I mean, the rec center has a pool room with a pool table, but I feel like they're hesitant with us allowing us to use it. And so not many of these places are friendly, and I feel like we need more support from our community to be able to pull this off.
Right. If you look at the pool situation, I remember being in Adams, and I thought it was really cool. My mom let me walk downtown after school, and we went to play pool at the rec center. And it felt like they were hesitant to let us, use their supplies. We had to write down our name and our phone number and our address, and, it seemed like they didn't want us to play pool. But then again, I'm sure they've had problems in the past with kids misusing their equipment. And I feel like, if the students who were going there loved their town, they would respect their town a little bit more. And so, it's almost right that they were, not treating us fairly, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they had a reason for it.
Yeah.
So. But
it's understandable.
Yeah, but there definitely should be some, well, there has to be, mutual trust between the adults and the kids. So, I mean, it has to be built, but someone has to initiate it,
Definitely,
So.
definitely.
I was just thinking about recently, like, there are kids that do a lot of involvement in our community. There's a lot of community service opportunities. There's a lot of, places that are hiring teenagers for part-time jobs. We've got people that do sports and stuff. And I just think, like, the kids that, don't necessarily, like, either want to do those things, feel pressured to do those things, like, I think we need more outlets for, recluse kids that just stay home because there's not much to do around our town.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we just need, like, you know, those outlets where kids can just, like, you know, be themselves and not have, like, the pressure of, like, you know, the town, like, just looking at them, like, at, you know, people at the Guilford Green just, like, trying to enjoy themselves, and then you have people, like, walking their pets that, you know, don't want them there, so I don't feel like we're necessarily, like, invited to be a part of our town.
Mm-hmm.
That leads me, do you think the town, like, can create, like, you know, places, activities that will, like, attract us?
I definitely think it's possible. I think it's a tough subject to tackle.
Yeah.
We've kind of mentioned some things about community events, and I feel like those are really big. Like, if you look at, for example, Boy Scout Troop 474, they put on the Strawberry Social. I'm sure you guys have heard of it.
Yes.
I feel like the entire town has heard of that. And that is put on mostly by the Scouts, who are, you know, teenagers and even middle schoolers. And it's a great asset to the community. They get the Adams and the high school jazz bands come. Plenty of people around town attend it, they enjoy it, and that is a perfect example of the way that teens can put in some initiative and create a good community building event. But again, that's a once a year thing. So, and it's put on by an organization mainly of students, but with adult help. And so I feel like if we had more of those sort of organizations in town, that would be more worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could put on more events like that.
Yeah, and even within the school, I know they do a lot of food drives and can drives, and they also do a lot of you know, like they invite the kids and their parents to go out and say have a pasta night or something like that. So especially Action Against Hunger did something like that this year and the year before.
Interact Club.
Interact and
those are all teenagers, like, helping out, and I feel like we're, again, misrepresented. We feel like we need more adult help if we're going to be able to move on and, like, do something with our community. We need the help of others.
Right, and if you look at Pilgrim Fellowship, which is an enormous organization of only high schoolers in Guilford, and not necessarily Guilford High School, but Guilford altogether, you know, their numbers of participants used to be, you know, 25 to 50, and now it's upwards of probably 100, 150. It's a very large organization, and you look at all the things that they do. They rake leaves, they put on the Santa bread. They do a lot of things for the community, and it's all community service. They're helping out the members of this community. The Santa breakfast, you know, brings people together. They do soup and bread, I believe, in the First Congregational Church. They, you know, that's just a very good example of showing that the students in this town, you know, they want to do good. That is a community service organization, not a give me this, let me have the time of my life. This is let me help the people around me. And it all culminates into them, you know, going to a very impoverished place and helping out that community too. And so, once again, that organization is heavily run by the students, by the teenagers, but it involves that adult
aspect.
Yeah, the
guidance.
The guidance. There's an adult role in that organization, and frankly, I feel like if there wasn't that adult role, they wouldn't be able to do all the things that they do. And so it's just a prime example of how if teens and adults work together, they can create very, very good things. And There just there needs to be more organizations like that. Can I come up with another organization like that on the spot? Not necessarily. You know, I mentioned the Boy Scouts earlier.
Yeah.
We have 3 Boy Scout troops in this town,
Mm-hmm.
all doing, you know, good things in their own different ways. But I feel like there's a lot of overlap in participation.
Mm-hmm.
That you know, one person is involved in 6 different clubs or organizations, and I feel like there's a lot of kids that aren't involved in any of these things.
Yeah, I feel as though there should be exactly more ways to draw kids into these activities. Like, I know the school mandates, I think, 20 hours of community service, which, I mean, can help bring students into these kind of positions. Like, I don't know about Boy Scouts, but certainly they might get involved in local things, like through their church or what have it. But yeah, I think if they more actively try and induct kids into these organizations, then they would be, I don't know, more willing to just support the town and try and become more involved, because as you said, there's overlap. Because kids who are involved in one thing will like it, so if they like it, they'll go to another thing and another thing, so.
Right.
They can always, like, bring their friends into it too, you know, and have them help out, or.
Absolutely. And I feel that as we market these organizations, because you know, they're nonprofit organizations, they're always looking for more people to be involved. I feel like we need to start marketing towards the part of our community that isn't as involved. You know, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, and so we need to take advantage of these untapped kids. You know, the kids who every Saturday afternoon, you know, are just like sitting around, not really doing anything. Well, that's just
It's unfortunate.
yeah, and I feel like the town as a whole needs to kind of pick these kids up and maybe wants to show them that, you know, there is something to do. And I feel like the graduation requirement of the community service, I feel like that's kind of designed for that, you know, to force them to go out and see that there are things that this community has to offer. But I'm afraid that most students leave it till their senior year, and then they realize, like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'd like to do that next year. Oh, wait, I'm going to college next year. I can't. And as I talk to people who didn't grow up in Guilford, a lot of school districts require 20 hours each year. Each year. And so maybe we could, you know, tweak that a little bit. Maybe not 20 hours a year. Maybe start off with something like 10.
Yeah. But
somehow mandate more involvement each year. Because I feel like as people get involved, afterwards, as they look back on it, they realize, you know, that wasn't so bad. I kind of had fun. And so I feel like requiring it each year would encourage students to not only do it year after year, but again, it would give them time to involve their friends too. Say, hey, last year I did this, that was really fun, you should come with me this year and try it out. And, you know, it's kind of a snowball effect. I don't like that cliche, but, you know, I can definitely see how it could build on each other.
You two bring up very good points. I also wanted to, I think we missed this, the town recently passed a bill for the new high school. Do you guys think, like, that'll be, like, a beneficial thing for our teenagers? And I know there's a lot of money going into it, but do you guys feel like...
Well, I think it'll definitely build some kind of school spirit. Well, as they've been cutting off school spirit festivals for the past couple of years. They didn't do one this year. And I think that's because a lot of kids don't really have much school spirit. So it's possible that with you know, a new high school, people won't be like, oh, it's Guilford High School, it's falling apart, but you know, they'll have more pride in their school. So
absolutely, and I think pride has a lot to do with it. You know, when you go to a school and when it rains outside, it rains inside, it's very easy to, you know, exaggerate the bad things and
Yeah.
and tell all your friends or your cousins, like, yeah, my school stinks, like it actually smells bad all the time, especially when it rains, and it's very easy for that to, you know, take effect. And I feel like with the new school, there'll be a new sense of pride. Like, yeah, my school is awesome. We have all these things. It's like energy efficient. Personally, when the bill was coming up, I was against it just because I love Guilford High School, even in its current state. Hence why I am the recipient of class of 2010 Most School Spirit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love this town, and I feel like the new high school will help the student body realize, like, how blessed we are to live here.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like that was a step in the right direction. A lot of controversy, but I'm happy with that decision, that the town went forward with that.
And yeah, so we're nearing the end of our time. So I just wanted to thank you guys, and we brought up some really good points, and we just got to continue to, you know, do what we can, help communication between students and adults to, you know, bring this community to a whole and help the kids out and help the teens, like, make this a more teen-friendly town.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you for watching.